Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for joining me for tea time once again. What do we got today? We have a chai and black tea. Usually I'm drinking green tea. You can see it doesn't look like pee today. So it is black tea. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about a bunch of things. More like news, you know, stuff that just came out that I thought was important. I want to share with you guys and maybe have a discussion thereabouts. So let me start out by saying that if you haven't went over to my website in the past, please go check it out, JCristina.com. There's a lot of photography tools that I've invented. Look at them. If there's something that you might like, support me. That would be stellar. Once again, JCristina.com. So let me start out with Sony. We're going to be talking about Sony, Nikon, Canon, a bunch of stuff today, but let me start out with Sony. Now, in one of the last videos, someone said, you're kind of all wet behind your ears with the whole global shutter thing. Sony already has a global shutter that they're coming out with and whatnot. And I wanted to respond to them in the comments, but I also wanted to do it in video because just recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before, a news article that came out talking about it. Now, they've been working on this Pregis S, I think it's called. Forgive me on the pronunciation. It's basically a stacked CMOS sensor that has global shutter. The problem with that is, guys, is that specific image sensor, right, is specifically designed for industrial use. So what that means is manufacturing, inspection, logistics, anything having to do with that. Let's say if you're working at Mary Kay or let's say some other cosmetic, company, and you have an assembly line and you have a robot that's packing, you know, cases of 24. Well, they'll have one of these cameras and pointing down on it, and they'll be able to see if there's any kind of problems. The thing is, the resolution isn't great because it doesn't need to be great. Some of these are actually black and white, okay? But they do have that global shutter, so they don't miss anything. There's no blurring, there's no ripping, there's nothing. It's dead on every time, and they're usually capturing at 240 or even greater frames per second, so they don't miss anything in that packaging. So they know if something was mispackaged or misaligned or whatnot. So like I said, this sensor, this Pregis S, is not for like an A-series Sony. It is for industrial use only. That was what it's intended for. Now, is Sony also making a global shutter for their A-series? Probably. I really don't know, but I haven't heard about it as of yet. But this one is specifically for manufacturing. So next, Canon. What's going on over there at Canon? Now, there's been a lot of back and forth with Canon, originally with their R and then their RP, and why don't they have 2 card slots? And then we were talking about megapixels and then IBIS and all this stuff. Well, just recently we heard that Canon will absolutely 100% be coming out with a 70 plus megapixel R. Let's call it the R Pro, whatever you want to call it. They will be coming out with a 70 megapixel R version. Now, what's interesting here, guys, is they're finally going to answer all of these people saying, God, why don't we have IBIS in here? And it will have IBIS. Now, I don't know if you guys really understand how big that is, literally, because image stabilization in itself is complicated. It's difficult. And the larger the sensor is, the harder it is to be able to get it right. That's one of the reasons why Panasonic did such a great job with their GH line, because it was micro four thirds. So you're able to take a smaller sensor and move it around really quickly to be able to get that stabilization just right. When you're dealing with a big sensor moving around, you can imagine it's a little bit more complicated, more heat, more power. Okay, there's a lot more going on. So by doing image stabilization on a 70 plus megapixel sensor, it's not easy. It's still a full frame size, but still you're dealing with a lot of data. All right, a lot of data. So like I said, Canon will have a 70 megapixel plus, could be higher, sensor, as well as in-body image stabilization. And that will be in 2019. So that's coming right around the corner, really. Next, I want to get into Nikon. And I think this is a really interesting story. Now, if you guys remember back when the Z7, I believe it was, yes, came out first, and I was talking about it. And I gave you my thoughts on it. And one of my major complaints, there was a bunch, but one of my major complaints was that they wanted to sell the folks that were buying the camera a $250 FTZ mount, a mount that would take you over from F over to Z. This made no sense.
How stupid are you?
It made no sense at all. And then when it finally came out, they said, well, if you buy the Z7 and then after that, the Z6, we'll give you this mount adapter for only $150. I was like, what are these people doing? What are they doing? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. We saw what Canon did, right? With their R, now with their RP. Why would they do this? Well, I guess finally Nikon or the board of directors over at Nikon said, you know, this is really not working out. All right. We see Canon is doing well by giving their people their mount, right? Their EF to R mount for free. So we're going to start doing the same thing. Epiphany.
An experience of sudden and striking realization. Generally, the term is used to describe scientific breakthrough, any situation in which an enlightening realization allows a problem or situation to be understood from a new and deeper perspective.
Wow! Can you believe it? Does it make any sense not to do it that way? I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Absolutely not one little bit. If you're going to try to bring people over from one system to the other, and the lenses from the other system will work on the new, well, give them an easy way, an easy path, an easy bridge to get there, right? It was just like common sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, well, I guess it all sank in, and now they're going to be doing it. I also said when the BCN reports came out, and I saw that Canon was 39th, right, on the BCN reports for sales for their EOS R. And when I was looking for the Z6, Z7, it was like nowhere to be found, down to 100. It just doesn't exist. They weren't there. They're not selling enough. Okay. Well, this could be the reason, guys. And now that they're going to be giving away this $250, the thing probably costs $15 to them, but whatever, let's call it their $250 mount adapter. Maybe this will change things up a little bit and we'll get some more Nikon people to move over into mirrorless. So hopefully that is the case. Hopefully for Nikon, that will bring those numbers up. So when the next month's BCN reports come out, we'll see them, as I said in the last video, on par with Canon. Because I do think that they're pretty close to being on par. Some say the Nikon is better, their Z series, their Z6 and Z7, than the Canon EOS R and RP, and, you know, 6 of this, half a dozen of another, whatever, however you want to look at it. We'll see how it all plays out. But I'm really excited that Nikon is finally now going to be giving away their FTZ adapter. Thank God. So that's it, guys. It's pretty much the latest news as of this week. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, just give you my thoughts and just have this discussion back and forth. Now, if there's some other things in the news that I missed that you thought was really interesting and you want to bring it up to all of us here in the comment area, definitely in the comment area, stick that in there because this is our conversation time, right? Remember what I do. These videos are just a little bit of the channel, just a tiny bit, maybe 10% of the channel. The majority of the channel is you guys and all of these comments that we see down below. Articulate, just wise comments, right? So keep putting them down there. It's awesome. Let's have this discussion. So that's it, guys. Sony, Canon, Nikon in the news for this week. I'm out, guys. As always, if you enjoy my content, please throw me a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me. That would be awesome. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. We'll see you in the next one. Take care and happy shooting.